Huh? I thought I said you don't have a seat here.
Today, I'm not here for you. If you send me away, you're the one who will end up embarrassed. For the first time I met my mother-in-law, Sophia, I sensed she didn't like me, but I never imagined she would go to such lengths to make me uncomfortable. My name is Emma Stewart, 34 years old. I live in a condo in Midtown, close to my workplace with my husband and son. My husband Mason never had a biological mother. He grew up with his self-employed father Noah and his brother. When we got married 10 years ago, Mason's brother William told us,
"Let me take care of Dad. You two enjoy your newlywed life."
So we didn't live with Noah. William took care of him. But 4 years ago, William suddenly moved out. The reason?
Actually, I'm thinking of getting remarried.
We heard this on New Year's Day when we visited Mason's family home.
Really? Dad, you're not being scammed?
It's understandable for the sons to be skeptical. Their father, nearing 60, suddenly wanting to remarry could easily be a scam. Mason immediately asked William for the truth, but even William was hearing it for the first time. When we asked Noah how he met this woman, he bashfully said they met in the waiting room of the hospital where he gets treatment. Seeing a middle-aged man act so shy, no one pressed further. Honestly, both sons are adults and we had no intention of meddling in our father's love life. We left it at that. A few days later, I fell sick and found out I was pregnant. When I went to the hospital, Mason and I were thrilled. When we called William and Noah, they were happy for us and invited us to a celebratory dinner. On the day, the weather was good and we headed to our favorite steakhouse. When we arrived, an unfamiliar woman was sitting at our reserved table.
Let me introduce everyone. This is Sophia, the woman I want to remarry.
We knew Noah wanted to remarry, but we were shocked that he brought Sophia without warning.
Nice to meet you.
Sophia greeted us with a nervous smile, her arm wrapped around Noah's. Today was supposed to be a celebration of my pregnancy, but it had turned into an introduction to Noah's potential new wife.
Sorry to rush, but I'll be living with Sophia. William, can you find an apartment and move out?
Noah, who doesn't require caregiving, suddenly asked William, who had been living with him, to move out. Sophia, the introduced woman, said she has a lease renewal in a few months and suggested it would be a good time for her and Noah to start living together.
William, I'm sorry. Please find a new place soon. Leave Noah to me.
If Noah really remarries, Sophia would become the stepmother to Mason and William, which honestly made us uneasy. Ignoring our concerns, perhaps buoyed by alcohol, Noah began introducing her. Sophia started talking about how they met, their hobbies, skills, jobs, and even their ages. Information we never asked for. In the midst of this, I found out she's from the same area where I grew up. So I tried to make conversation. I'm actually from the same place as you, Sophia. She then started bragging about her family was wealthy and how all the guys her age in the neighborhood were into her. She even asked,
"So where is your family home, Emma? What are your parents' name?"
"My maiden name is Featherstone. My mom's name is..." Before I could finish, she looked puzzled and said,
"I know that name. It's unique. Hard to forget. I was classmates with your mom."
Caught off guard by her unexpected reply, she went on to say something even more shocking.
"I have been eternal rivals with your mom in both academics and love, but I was always better. Never thought her daughter would become family."
She smirked at me condescendingly but didn't say much more that day, and my celebration came to an end. After that, William rented an apartment near the family home and moved out. Sophia moved in, and they quickly got married. Sophia was a first-time bride while Noah was remarrying. Both were nearing 60, so they started their married life quietly without a ceremony or photos. The next time I saw Noah and Sophia was in the hospital right after I safely gave birth to my son.
Emma, thank you for giving us a healthy grandchild.
Noah said, tears in his eyes. In contrast, Sophia asked,
"How does he look like? Doesn't look like Mason. Is this child really Mason's?"
Exhausted from childbirth, I was infuriated by Sophia's audacity, but too tired to argue. I pretended to sleep.
"How thick-skinned can you be? Sleeping when we have come to visit? You're just like your mother."
Sophia sneered. Just then, my mom walked into the room, arms crossed. When Noah and Sophia turned around in surprise, my mom was standing in the doorway of the hospital with her arms crossed. Noah greeted her warmly, but Sophia snorted,
"Ugh, you. You haven't changed a bit since high school."
"Thanks for saying I haven't aged. By the way, who are you?" My mom retorted, elegantly ignoring Sophia's snide comment. I was pretending to sleep but had to stifle my laughter. "I have heard about you, Sophia, from my daughter Emma, but sorry, I don't remember people who are beneath me." I was terrified of Mom's every word, wondering if she was forgetting that Sophia was Noah's spouse. "Sophia," now irritated, snapped.
"I've always hated you. Every guy I dated fell for you. You are better at everything: studies, sports, looks. But now your precious daughter is married to my son. She's mine to command." "You're still as petty as ever, even nearing 60. What you're doing is just spite." My mom replied unfazed. Fearing things would escalate, I pretended to wake up and said, "I'm exhausted from childbirth and there are other patients here. Let's talk another day," and sent everyone home. After being discharged, I didn't go to my parents' house but returned to our condo in Midtown to raise our child. Soon after, an unwelcome visitor rang our doorbell. "Emma, I know taking care of a baby is tough, so I've come to help."
Sophia showed up empty-handed while I was juggling feedings every 3 hours and making lunch for my husband all on little time.
"It must be nice to live in Midtown. Why don't we swap houses? A bigger house is definitely better for raising kids."
Sophia started eyeing our place as if she already had plans to live here with Noah in her retirement years. All she talked about was money, rent, ownership, mortgage terms. She assumed I was a stay-at-home mom and started visiting after Noah left for work, but she never helped with housework or childcare. I was worn out from entertaining Sophia almost every weekday. That day, she came over after my husband left for work and made herself comfortable in the living room.
"So when are you going to hand over this condo? We are ready to move anytime,"
she said, as if it was a done deal. She even had the audacity to say we should leave our expensive appliances and dishes behind and use whatever was in her place. I have had enough of Sophia's nerve. I figured she thought she would wear me down until I moved out.
"Sophia, let me be clear. This condo is close to my workplace and I'll be returning there after my parental leave. I'm not giving it to you. Also, we have arranged childcare, so please don't come here anymore."
"You work? What do you do?"
When Sophia asked about my job, I simply said I work closely with men.
To which she laughed and said, "So you're just a pretty face. Your mom was always top of her class, but it looks like you didn't inherit that. You're past 20 and a mother now. You're washed up."
She left after dropping that bomb. I didn't fully understand what she meant, but I knew it wasn't a compliment. I vowed never to let her into my home again. Months later, our son was growing well and had started to stand up. We received a letter and invitation to William's wedding. We knew he had been dating someone and it seemed they had moved in together and decided to get married. We RSVP'd for the 3 of us. Days later, Sophia called.
"You do realize you're the only one who can come to William's wedding, right?"
"Why can't I attend?"
"Do you even know your place?"
"Yes, I do."
"If you understand, then stay home on the day of the wedding,"
she said and hung up. But William had attended our wedding, and it would be absurd for the sister-in-law to miss her brother-in-law's wedding, plus I had our infant son to consider. I decided to ignore Sophia and attend the wedding. Months later, on the wedding day, Sophia spotted me as soon as I arrived and stormed over.
"I told you not to come today."
She unleashed her fury on me, her face red with anger, but I calmly told Sophia it would be strange if the sister-in-law didn't attend her brother-in-law's wedding.
Sophia retorted, "If people find your family, it'll be a lifelong embarrassment. That's why I'm telling you to leave."
"Do you even know who's attending this wedding, Sophia? Some of them are my associates."
"All the more reason. If our family finds out you are in some shady line of work, we'd be too embarrassed to show our faces."
Just then, my husband, who had heard the commotion, came to my rescue.
"Sophia, what's going on? Why are you treating Emma like this?"
Sophia loudly declared, "Emma works in the nightlife industry. Once she puts the kid in daycare, she'll go back to flirting with men for money. I don't want people to know she's part of our family."
My husband tried to calm her down.
"Sophia, you're mistaken. Emma doesn't work in the nightlife industry."
"Don't lie. I heard it from her own mouth. You're the ones being deceived."
Despite my husband's attempts to clarify, Sophia wouldn't listen. Even when security arrived, she kept shouting that I worked in the nightlife industry. By then, a crowd had gathered to see what the fuss was about. But no matter how much Sophia accused me, no one looked at me with disdain or pointed fingers. In fact, the more Sophia ranted, the more people gathered and they looked at her with pity. I didn't want to cause a scene at William's important wedding, so I loudly explained the situation for everyone to hear. The job where I interact with many men is in designing dams and large rivers. I work for a major general contractor. And Noah, who's self-employed, is a subcontractor for my company. After my explanation, the guests lined up to exchange business cards with me. My hand was filling up with cards. Sophia, watching all this, glared at me with a displeased expression. Then one of the guests said to Sophia, "The bridegroom's sister-in-law is a highly respected woman in her industry, even featured in TV and magazines. Weren't you aware?"
What are you talking about? That's so misleading.
Sophia's face turned red as she spoke awkwardly. Frustrated and embarrassed, Sophia turned her anger towards Noah.
Aren't you ashamed that your son is a subcontractor for a company like that? Have some pride. It's common sense for sons to marry women who work for smaller companies than they do. Marrying someone out of his league is just insane.
Noah responded firmly, "I raised my sons, not you. Insulting the woman my son chose to marry is also an insult to him. It seems I was the one lacking judgment. Sophia, I'm divorcing you."
Sophia, not caring about the public spectacle, shouted, "You should be grateful I even married an old man like you. Fine, if we are divorcing, I'll demand alimony and compensation."
She stormed out of the wedding venue. The room fell silent. Noah sensed the awkward atmosphere and said, "Well, today is a great day. My son is getting married and I'm cutting ties with a bad relationship." The crowd laughed and the mood lightened. The wedding proceeded joyfully. Sophia's absence turned out to be a blessing for William's wedding. That night, when I expressed concern for Noah, he assured me he was fine. The next day, Noah signed the divorce papers and mailed them to Sophia's parents. Sophia later showed up demanding money, but Noah had already transferred his savings as gifts, leaving almost nothing. "Can't give what I don't have," he chuckled. Learning that she could hardly get any money, Sophia was making a scene in front of her husband's family, exclaiming,
"This con artist, and to think I married him."
Curious, I asked Sophia why she married Noah in the first place. She said she mistook him for a wealthy man because he had a tan and a muscular build, along with a gold necklace. She assumed he got his tan from playing golf. Sophia, who can't forget the good old days, married Noah thinking he was rich. To be honest, both his son and I hoped they would find happiness together. But given their different expectations, it was probably only a matter of time before their marriage fell apart. At least Noah seemed to have loved Sophia. He was down for a while after the divorce and even fell ill. Noah is still very much active, but he's not as young as he used to be. My spouse and I are considering having him move in with us soon. We want Noah to stay healthy at least until our son's coming of age ceremony. No, until he gets married. Going forward, we plan to live happily together as one big family, hand in hand.